ignited minds through deliberation. On behalf of our institution, PG Department of Education and I2AC Cell, I welcome all of you to this auspicious occasion. Wishing you all a fruitful and insightful seminar ahead. Thank you very much.
Organizing Secretary Professor H.K.Senapati से मंचासीन अतिथि मान संपर्क में परिचय प्रदान करें।
आज जातीय सम्पादन उद्घाटन उत्सव सभापति तथा आवाहक आम महाविद्यालय अध्यक्ष प्रोफेसर राजश्री बराड़ महोदय, आज सभार मुख्य अतिथि श्रीयुक्त सुरेश पुजारी, माननीय राजस्व और विपर्यय प्रबंधन विभाग मंत्री, भीति प्रबंध उपस्थापक प्रोफेसर H.K.Senapati, प्राक्तन निर्देशक NCERT नवा दिल्ली, सम्मानित अतिथि प्रोफेसर उमाशंकर दास, आंचलिक उच्च शिक्षा निर्देशक संबलपुर, संयोजक जोगेश संपादक सह।
If we see our history from the beginning, our root to see from the point of view of education, our Gurukul system, where purpose of education was not just only the acquisition of realization of self, self-realization was the goal of education. And our root is our ancient universities, Nalanda, Takshashila, Vikramshila, Vallabhi, all these universities where our approach was multidisciplinary, our focus was on holistic development, our emphasis was on character formation, and these ancient knowledge system, what is there or what was there, and that has been the guiding force for our national policy on education 2020. And this national policy on education, if you see the vision of NEP 2020, it envisions a system of education rooted in Indian ethos, very clearly mentioned, rooted in Indian ethos, Indian culture, Indian tradition, Indian value system. So that is the root, that is going to be the root, because we have neglected this for a long time. That is why it has been emphatically said that a system of education will be developed rooted in Indian ethos, which will directly contribute in creating an equitable, high-grade knowledge society, as a result of which India will become a developed country, India will become a knowledge superpower. That is our expectation. And why we are saying that if it is rooted to our culture, then our society will be equitable. That we should try to understand. Our society will be equitable because that is our philosophy. That is why we say Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. That is why we say whole world is one family. That is our culture. That should be integrated into our curriculum. That then only we can bring about change. We can create an equitable, vibrant knowledge society, and ultimately India will be knowledge superpower. Second thing, if you see the vision, it is talking about fundamental duties. Fundamental duties and constitutional obligation, constitutional values. It is not related to cognitive domain. What we emphasize in our education system, it may be school, it may be college, it may be university. Our cognitive domain, that means that takes a very dominant place, and all our focus is on development of cognitive domain, and affective domain is totally neglected. But this policy has taken cognizance of the fact, and it has emphasized that curriculum and pedagogy of our institutions, all categories of institutions, must develop a deep sense of respect towards fundamental duties and constitutional values, because we should be conscious of our duties and responsibilities. Only we should not fight for rights. We are conscious of our rights, we know our rights, we fight for our rights, but we are not conscious of our duties and responsibilities that is related to affective domain, feeling that we should feel for others, we should have concern for others, we should show love and affection to others. So that is the most important thing that has been emphasized in this NEP 2020. That is also related to our culture. If you see the ancient culture, the Vedas, Upanishads, that all the time we are living not for ourselves, we are living for others. That is our culture. That is why we have to develop respect, deep sense of respect among the students towards this fundamental duty and constitutional values. Then the third thing, if you see the vision, it is talking about global citizenship education. That means what we have been propagating since long, from the beginning, from the ancient time, whole world is one family. That is there, that has been highlighted in this vision. And what has been emphasized? That means we have to instill the pride of being Indian among the students. Pride of being Indian among the students. Not only thought, but in spirit, in action. That means in deeds. And that will support the human rights, sustainable development, and ultimately global citizenship education. And why we want to develop the spirit of being Indian? In spirit, not only in thought, because you know Mongolian system of education. And the purpose was to develop Indian in blood and color, that means make Indian, that means they are Indian in blood and color, ultimately they will be English in spirit. But here, this policy has also taken care of this. That is why now we are going back to our root. And if you see the Gurukul system, while we were talking about self-realization, when our focus was development of character, values, and that is neglected. Because now what is our focus? Our focus is on acquiring mastery over the content, what is there in the syllabus, what is there in the textbook, and securing good mark in the exam. But we have forgotten the other dimensions. We have forgotten what was there in our ancient universities, Nalanda, Takeshila, and Vikramshila, where our focus was on multidisciplinary education. Focus was on interdisciplinary education, and that is why if now we are talking about this multidisciplinary holistic education, and if you see the Indian literature, because when we say Indian knowledge system, it includes our Vedic literature, it Vedas, Upanishads, etc. And if you see the Indian literature, if you go through the Kadambari of Banavat, you will find it is talking about 64 colors. 64 colors, that means education is incomplete without 64 colors. Why 64 colors? Colors, when you say colors in arts, now we are familiar with the liberal arts. It is not only dancing, painting, or the visual art. It includes all the creative human endeavors. It includes dance, painting, etc. That is only one part. Then it includes chemistry, mathematics, all the disciplinary areas. That is number 2. It includes the vocational knowledge, which is totally neglected now, and that is one part of this multidisciplinary approach. That means in Kadambari, among the 64 colors, it may be carpentry, it may be cloth making. This is the third part. And the fourth one, it is talking about medicine. That means the professional knowledge, law, all this. That is also one part of this 64 colors. Then the fifth one is about the soft skills. Soft skills, we are now doing some personality development program just to prepare our student for the interview. Soft skills, this is there in our ancient culture. This is there in our culture, and it was just to practice in our ancient system of education. But that is totally neglected. And now time has come. We have to take care of the 64 colors so that there will be holistic development. That is why now we are talking about establishing multidisciplinary institutions, interdisciplinary institutions, And we are starting this multidisciplinary approach from class 6 onwards, as per the recommendation of NCERT 2020, not only in higher education, from class 6 onwards, when students will be exposed to different disciplinary knowledge, not only they will know about mathematics, science, other subjects, they will understand the interrelationship among the subjects. And vocational education is going to be an integral part of general education, no separate stream. And we have neglected vocational education like anything, and that is going to take a prominent place. Every student has to have a mastery over this vocational education, at least before completion of school education. Then there will be vertical mobility for higher education. So this is, you see, the system of education what we are going to develop now. It is going to take care of our ancient culture, our root, because if it is connected to our root, then definitely we can bring about change in the society. Because ultimately our goal is to create an equitable, vibrant society. We want to make our country a developed country by 2047, that is the slogan, Viksit Bharat. And that we can do if our educational institutions are rooted into our ancient culture, or particularly our curriculum and pedagogy. That is why it has been clearly mentioned that all the institutions will be multidisciplinary in nature. There will be no standalone institution, and categorically it has been mentioned for teacher education by 2030. That means all the teacher education institutions will be multidisciplinary institutions. Why? Because we want holistic development. Even those who will be teachers, they should develop their holistic personality. We have got many. That means what problem we are facing in our society. We have good doctors, we have good engineers, and we have good political leaders, and we have other professionals, bureaucrats. And what is missing? It is very difficult to find a combination of a good human being and good doctor, good human being and good engineer, good human being and good political leader. So good human being, good bureaucrats. Why it is happening? Because our system is like that. We are preparing our students in that manner. We are focusing on one discipline, and we are neglecting the other domains of the personality. And holistic development is totally neglected. That is why it has been recommended. Even if our IITs, IIM, the best institution of our country, they have to reopen all these courses. When we say multidisciplinary, it includes all the city is, the root is that is connected to the 64 colleges. That means all the subjects will be there in our institutions. So that students, those who are having potentiality, they will get opportunity to develop that potentiality. Now they are not getting opportunities. In engineering institutions, we are not teaching them social science, we are not taking care of the other aspects. We are preparing good engineers, but we are not preparing good human beings. So to prepare good human beings, we have to make our institution multidisciplinary, we have to make our institution interdisciplinary, and we have to connect it to our root. What was there in Taksila, what was there in Nalanda, Vikramshila, that we have to rediscover. That is our root. Then only we can bring about change. And you will be happy to know that I will give one example. In Russia, there is an institution for gifted. There is an institution for gifted students, gifted children. In India, we don't have. And our Honorable Prime Minister visited that institute. And President Putin is the president of that institution, that gifted center. And they psychomotor domain, so that they will be good human beings, and as well as they will be good professionals, and they can contribute significantly in nation building. That is the vision that they are doing. That is why now if you see in the policy, all our institutions are going to be multidisciplinary. That is the reason, so that holistic development will take place. We are going to introduce the academic bank of credit for the purpose, because that will help our students to acquire some degree. It may be short courses, and that will be deposited. And in 2023, that we have come out with the national credit system. And similarly, some guidelines have been developed how to integrate our curriculum in the Indian learning system into our curriculum and into our pedagogy, so that it will take care of the knowledge system, and we can have a better system of education. Because in our Gurukul system, you will see everything is performance based. Now what we are doing, it is mostly the written test, and now we have reduced it to the competency based, the multiple choice test, And competencies are totally neglected, skills are totally neglected. If you see in the world, Finland is the most developed country in the field of education. Why they are developed? If you see what they have, they are giving maximum autonomy to the teachers. And teachers are highest paid. Teachers are very difficult to get the job, this teaching job in Finland. And why? That is why you see Finland is number one. When PISA tests are conducted in the contest, Finland is always number one. So that is the reason. So if really we want a change, we want to connect our system to our root, then we have to give autonomy to our teachers. We have to give respect to our teachers. And in Finland, we have seen that is they have full autonomy. Now what we are talking, we are developing one type of textbook, and that is being implemented all over the country. Fortunately, this NEP 2020 has taken care of that. It has said, it has been recommended that local flavor, local content will be added to the textbook. Students of Sambalpur region know about the history of this region, know about the geography, they should know about the culture, they should know the language, and that is missing in our system. That is why if really we want a better system of education, then we have to contextualize. We have to connect it to the local culture, to the system. Even our tribal students, they are being deprived. Why they are being deprived? The materials what we are providing to them, it is not relevant for them. It is not related to their culture. They feel foreign. That is, they feel that these materials, it is foreign to them. That is why if really we want a better system of education, then what we have to do? We have to connect our children to their root by contextualizing. Second, by teaching them through their mother tongue, at least at the early stage, and integrating their culture, their tradition, their value system, their history, their geography, then we can really bring about change in our system. For that, we have to give autonomy to our teachers. Autonomy not only to teachers, to the institutions. And a lot of flexibility should be introduced, what has been recommended by the NEP 2020. So this is the beginning. That means we are in the process of implementing the recommendation of NEP 2020, both in school education and higher education. And I hope after some years, definitely we will get the result, and our students will be connected to their roots, and they will be good citizens of this country, good human beings, and also global citizens, and they will contribute significantly in nation building. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Wish you all the best.